Greetings, it is I, PATHFINDER Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire. Welcome. It's time to continue our discussion on the Pathfinder role-playing game system. Today I'm going to continue to dive into the rules for the combat. Today I'm going to talk about some size and reach and creatures of larger or smaller sizes, and then I'm going to get into combat modifiers, talking about cover and concealment mainly. So let's dive into the talking about creatures of different sizes. So if I'm a tiny or smaller creature, I have a reach of 0. That's the first thing you have to think about. So it means if I'm in a square, I can't attack a creature from a square adjacent to me. I have to move into that creature's square. I'm allowed to do this because of rules I previously discussed, from like squeezing into something if you're that small. So I can do that, and this occurs attack of opportunity, so I might get hit by doing this, but then I can attack him. Now because they have a reach of 0, I, as a tiny creature, I can't make attacks of opportunity. I don't threaten. So if someone moves by me, by my square, I don't threaten it. I have a reach of 0. Now on the other hand, larger creatures, they take up more than one square. They really do. If you look at them, a large creature takes up 4 squares. Anything bigger than that, they start taking up more squares. More and more. Now typically, a larger creature is going to have a reach of 10 feet or more. Now unlike using a reach weapon, I can make attacks of opportunity adjacent to me, anywhere within my reach. Now also, someone might provoke an attack of opportunity against me by moving through my reach. So that means they might step up to where I could reach them. If they want to move up next to me, they provoke from me, so I could hit them when trying to move up from me. It makes it very dangerous to move into me. Now, they could 5-foot step in between that area around me to prevent this. As I said, the 5-foot step is a simple move that does not provoke an attack of opportunity that you could always do, even as part of the full round action. So you could just move up to them that way. Now, if I should be a large creature with a reach weapon, like some kind of polearm, it doubles my reach. Which means I have a reach of 10, it would become 20. Now, the only thing would be, within that 10 reach, I couldn't do the attacks of opportunity. That would be like similar to a reach weapon for a medium creature, except it's within their normal reach that it occurs, not within that 5 foot next to them. There's a chart in the book that discusses the basics of space and reach, telling you how much kind of space most creatures take and what kind of reach they have on average. Now let's start talking about combat modifiers. These are things that modify normally a creature's AC. It modifies either giving them a bonus or a penalty to their ability to defend. But let's talk about the first one, cover. Cover is a bonus to anything's AC. It's a way of blocking it. The easiest way to see cover is from one of the corners of my square on a map. If I draw a line to any of the corners of my target square and it hits some kind of obstruction that blocks the way, then I have cover. If I don't get any of those obstructions, that means I don't have cover and I can attack them normally. So anything that blocks line of effect would give cover. This includes creatures too. Now, a low wall will provide cover. Effectively, if it's no higher than half of your height, it will provide cover. Now this only works if I'm 30 feet within that. If I'm 30 feet away from this wall. This is really talking about ranged cover too. I could be up next to it melee-wise also, but if I'm farther back, I can be up to 30 feet back from that wall and it still might provide cover. If the person firing at me is closer to the wall, they can ignore that. So that would mean, like, if we're the same distance, then I still get that cover bonus from the wall. But on the other hand, if the other person's much closer and right up next to the wall and firing at me on the other side of it, I wouldn't get the bonus. Now, traditionally, cover gives a +4 bonus to your AC, but it also gives a +2 bonus to your reflex saves. Now, cover, like concealment I'm going to mention in a minute, are going to grant you the ability to make stealth checks. So you could use cover to hide and avoid the sight and make a stealth check. Now, creatures provide cover too, as I mentioned. This could be enemies or it could be allies. Effectively, they only provide cover against range. They don't provide melee cover. For the range cover, it would mean that I would have to try to shoot through them to hit someone on the other side of them. Now, this only grants the AC bonus, it doesn't grant the reflex bonus. This is soft cover. That's a creature blocking the way. As I said, it doesn't give the reflex bonus, and you can't make stealth checks using soft cover, meaning I can't hide behind a creature and attempt to stealth away from you. Now, when we talk about larger creatures, they can use any of their squares when determining if something they're targeting has cover. Meaning, like, if I'm a large creature, I can use any of my 4 squares when determining if I can draw lines to get cover to a target over there. That means I just don't have, if I'm like partially behind a wall, I can use the one that's outside from behind that wall to determine if I have cover, rather than me being behind the wall to see if I have cover. On the other hand, it does work in reverse. that something attacking me can choose any of my squares to determine if I have cover against them. So it does sort of have the same advantage and disadvantage that, yes, I can choose a different square when seeing if I have cover. On the other hand, they can choose any of my squares to see if I have cover. Now you can actually have lesser cover. If like only half of you is visible, so if you're behind something that's only blocking about half of you, then you can actually have cover which will only give you +2 AC and +1 reflex bonus. It's going to be your GM's discretion when this would occur, but it can. On the other hand, you can have total cover. This is when there is no line of effect, no line of sight to you. You're completely on the other side of a wall. Maybe someone knows you're there, but they don't see you at all. That's complete total cover. You can't target anybody that has total cover from you. Now there can be actually improved cover. Improved cover would be like I'm firing through an arrow slit. It's made to be fired out of. This would give me, because so much of me is hidden and I'm made to shoot out of there, I would get +8 to my AC for cover and +4 reflex saves. And I would be counting as having improved invasion when it came to those, because I am in such a position to avoid that. So if something's trying to hit me, I have improved evasion against it. I can sort of avoid the way because I have this arrow slit. It would be trying to do something through the arrow slit. Now also, I get +10 to stealth checks if I'm trying to hide on the other side of the arrow slit too, because most of me is already hidden. Now concealment is similar to cover in that it blocks the ability to do something. So should I be attacking someone, and when I would be using my square to trace to their square, and any part passes through an area of concealment, then I would have some concealment. On the other hand, if they are totally in an area of concealment, they would also get it too. Concealment is effectively a miss percentage chance. It means I roll percentile dice. Normal concealment is a 20% miss chance. That means I have a 20% chance of not hitting them because they have something sort of blocking my vision and ability to see exactly where that creature is. Now, multiple concealments do not stack. They don't. So if I would have kept concealment from multiple sources, I would still only have the 20% concealment. It doesn't stack with itself. Now, I can stealth in concealment. It allows me to sort of like, hide out of sight. It does give me that ability. Now, there is total concealment. Total concealment is, rather than a 20% miss chance, it's a 50% miss chance. It means I have a 50-50 chance of missing. Half the time I'm going to miss someone with an attack because I can barely see where they are. I can't make attacks of opportunity against anyone that has total concealment against me. That's the first thing you have to know about it. You only have line of effect, you don't have line of sight, meaning it makes it very difficult to attack them. You can't actually attack that target. You can attack their square, hence why that's what you're doing. So it's like, if I have total concealment against someone next to me, and I'm using a melee attack, I'm not attacking them, I'm attacking the square. I would still roll an attack roll and see if my attack would possibly hit their AC in the first place. I would, sort of make my attack roll, but I'm targeting that square because I might not know if they had moved out of there on their previous turn. I might not know, depending on what's going on. So I'm still doing that attack there. I'm rolling an attack, we compare it to see if I would hit. We check and see if the total concealment would matter. Now there are certain things and conditions that can give this. One example of total concealment is of course invisibility. If a target is invisible, they have total concealment. Now you can actually make perception checks to tell what square someone that's invisible is in, so that you could target that square. But if you're just invisible and standing still, you get +40 to stealth. If you're invisible and moving around, you get +20 to stealth. So it's still very difficult to spot someone who's invisible moving around. Now, depending on circumstances, your game master might give different percentages for concealment. This is very rare, and it's going to be very circumstantial. It's like something occurs. It's not like, it wouldn't be like multiple magic effects giving concealment. It's that maybe like the concealment I'm in alters a little bit. So maybe it's not total concealment, but it's more than normal concealment, or maybe it's a little less, like if fog is breaking away, so that it's like very, very light, wispy fog. I might have a lesser concealment chance because it is dissipating, that it was just the fog bank is what's giving the concealment chance. It can change anywhere between, 1% to the 49% that you would have, so that you're not quite total concealment, because that's the maximum you could have. But it is, again, very discretionary. It's going to be rare when you're going to even have anything come up like that. Your game master will let you know if there's special circumstances that this will occur. So that's it for today. I talked about basics of space and reach, talking about smaller creatures and larger creatures, and a little bit about their rules. And then I talked about the basics of cover and concealment. If you have any questions, comments, anything you want to say, anything you think I left out, leave it in the comments below. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. It shows support for the channel and the Empire, and it tells me you enjoy the videos I do. Please subscribe if you already haven't. We're always looking for more members, more citizens of the Empire, and please share this video. If you know anybody that would learn from it, or would just enjoy watching it, please share it with them. And until the next time, I bid you farewell.